just don't do that ever. And I was like, ew, it's disgusting. Me, it's just kind of a cesspool. I don't care what you tell me. It's just not something I would ever spend my money on. You know, odors and stuff. I know, I'm like, I don't even want to say it, but still, that's what a rug is for. So if you don't have the, okay, you're saving up, we were there. We were there for a few years, okay? We had wall-to-wall carpeting, as in even in the bathroom in this house. So I hear you. I had to save up. A trend that you should just be dropping, and I was like, what? Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the House of Valentina. Today we are talking about things you should not spend your money on when you are contemplating upgrading your home. Basically, upgrades, don't do, okay? Don't do these upgrades, skip them, pass them. You're not gonna get your money's worth. It's not gonna be the thing that you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did this. It's gonna be the thing that you're like, oh, regrets. We love to help you avoid those things here at the House of Valentina. So let's have a good chat today, shall we? About things you should avoid doing to your home, because we love upgrading our home here at the House of Valentina. We love making it more luxurious. We love making it cozier. We love making it more beautiful. And there are some things that you can spend your money on that just are gonna end up being a waste of money. I think some of these are a little bit controversial, but you'll have to let me know down in the comments what you think. Maybe you spent your money on them and you regret them, or maybe you spent your money on them and it's the best money you ever spent. We need to hear from you guys. And also make sure you are a subscriber. We're over 500,000. I mean, guys, we're almost to 600,000 at this point. Do you know how close that is to 1 million? I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna be there this year. We're gonna make it happen, aren't we? Share us with your friends and family. Share us with somebody who's maybe thinking about making some upgrades on their home and you're like, watch this video before you do that. All right, guys, let's just jump straight into these, shall we? Let's go. The first one is spa features, and I find that very interesting because we have been seeing over the last few years that like me time, investing in yourself, self-care, like, oh, we've got all kinds of words for it, but basically pamper time is one of the biggest trends we've been seeing in home, right? So why is it that spa features is suddenly not hitting that list? Why is it starting to hit the don't do this list? It's like, what? I'm so confused. Here's the reason. So I think a lot of people have, we've all kind of known that jetted tubs, they just kind of suck. You know, if you've ever had one, you know they are a pain in the butt to clean. Even if you're really good at cleaning them, a lot of times they just end up disgusting anyways. When we first moved into our home and we had the inspector look at ours, he was like, please do not ever take a bath in this tub. He said, there's so much bacteria in here, you will, like, he's like, especially as a female, he's like, just please, just don't do that ever. And I was like, ew, it's disgusting, right? And then I thought, like, as a kid, like, how much we loved those jetted tubs and how nice it was, and it was so spa-like, and it was like wonderful. And now we're like, ew. So a lot of people instead are doing like the air, like little vents. You know what I'm talking about? The little air tubs, right? That have air puffing out of them. They're supposed to be cleaner. The rumors that from everyone that I've ever known that had one is that they're still just a pain in the butt to clean. And a lot of times they break really easily and it's not worth your money. So I think that's why this is hitting the list. I would also say that jacuzzis, I see those all the time, especially like Airbnbs in the mountains, and I am honestly disgusted by them. To me, it's just kind of a cesspool. I don't care what you tell me. It's just not something I would ever spend my money on. So if you have one, feel free to write into the comments why you love it and how often you use it. Because to me, the only time I've ever been in one, my grandparents bought one, and oh, it was like such a, you know, a new thing to have the jacuzzi, and we were all like the big outdoor ones. And then like started to read articles about bacteria and all this other stuff. And I'm like, ew, like, nope. It's too much maintenance. It's too much to deal with. That's why I think a lot of these spa features are going away. Now, heated floors was hitting some of these lists, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I have experienced heated floors like at places we've stayed, and oh, I loved the heated floors. Let me know what you think about that one, because I still think that could be worth it. Okay, so barn doors keeps hitting the list. And I have to say, I am one of those people that says no barn doors. The reason why is because if you put them on a bathroom or a bedroom, you have very quickly realized that they don't offer the privacy that you really desire. As in, you hear noises from both places. Not good if you've got guests or maybe kids in the house, right? Or maybe your spouse, you don't want them to hear you while you're in the bathroom, for example. And odors and stuff. I know, I'm like, oh, I don't even want to say it, but still, it's kind of gross. They're a good idea. They really genuinely are. It's a really good solution if you don't have room for the door to swing out. I will say that I think that in certain situations, a barn door can still work if it goes with the decor that you currently have in your home. So if you're gonna go for a really rustic barn door, you need to have a really rustic setting in your home. I think they just look really weird if they just have no reference point to anything going on in your home, right? Like if you've got a really dressy room and a barn door, it's like, oh, what happened here? And I've said in the past, like mirrored doors are a great solution as well because they're gonna be space saving and they look really nice. They work well over like a closet. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not over the bathroom. But I do think in my sister's cottage recently, I know a lot of you have seen our Amazon show, and if you haven't heard, our show that we filmed with MGM and Amazon Live is now on Amazon Prime, as in your Prime Video app. So all you need to do is just search for House of Valentina and you're gonna find the entire series. You can binge watch us there. You can also watch it over on our storefront. We're live on Amazon every single Saturday starting at 11 a.m. as well. If you wanna join us live, the show aired live and that was like so fun to get to do that with you guys, but it's also pre-recorded so you can go back and watch it. You will see that in my sister's cottage, we used barn doors. Basically, we used a sliding door. It wasn't a barn door. They have this gorgeous chevron pattern in them. They're a little bit glossy, had a really nice finish on them. It was the only way for us to be able to make the footprint of that room really work and not have a door that swung out that would have looked really weird no matter which way you put it. It would have made the kitchen not work anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like those sliding doors were the perfect solution. That's why I think sometimes you have to adapt these ideas, even the spa ones. That's why I'm kind of saying like you really need to think through, what do I want? What do I need in my house? Is this gonna work? Is it not? Like, you gotta think through your own situation. So I think in general, barn doors are going out of style, but that doesn't mean you should give up on the sliding doors. Let me know your thoughts on that. I feel like wall-to-wall carpeting is one of those that we all talk about all the time. And like everyone knows, but then there's people that still don't know. There's people who are like, I'm just gonna put down wall-to-wall carpeting. And honestly, it's just not really that great of an idea. It holds a lot of bacteria, it holds a lot of dirt and allergens. And for most people, wall-to-wall carpeting is just a bad idea. It's just, yeah, it gets dirty. You can't pick it up like a rug and have it dry cleaned if you need to, or replace it very easily. It's just really gross. I think most people are just horrified by wall-to-wall carpeting, and I hear you. I hear when you say that you like it in the bedroom. That's what a rug is for. So if you don't have the money to switch it out, I understand like, okay, you're saving up. We were there. We were there for a few years, okay? We had wall-to-wall carpeting, as in even in the bathroom in this house. So I hear you. I had to save up. I mean, I had to work really hard to save up enough money. We're talking thousands of dollars to put the hardwood floors in. And I also put them in upstairs as well, and I've never had a regret. They are expensive to put in, hardwoods, but they are worth it. And every time we talk about hardwoods, people want to know, should I put it in a luxury vinyl tile? Oh my God, please do not put those in. It is like living on plastic. They're awful. I don't care what upgrades they've made. I don't care what the salesman tells you. Just don't do the luxury vinyl tile. It really looks cheap and it really does not hold up to use. It's better to save up just a little while longer. Even if you go with an engineered hardwood, that is way better than putting in a luxury vinyl tile. So here, no wall-to-wall carpeting. Just don't do it. Just save up until you're ready to make that change. Okay, now this one took me by surprise. Islands in the kitchen are a trend. Websites it was. I was shook. I'm like, what? Why would you say that like islands are going out? I mean, I heard double islands are going out. I get that. Like it just seems like the kitchen just goes on and on. I mean, who needs a kitchen that big? Okay, I get it. Like I'm not that offended by a double island. But no island? Why would we? Oh, but then the points were actually really, they actually made good points, which is that the island a lot of times becomes a dumping ground. And a lot of times we're trying to, rip out all the stuff to be able to put in an island. And I thought, I'm one of those people. Because I have a kitchen where I could not fit an island. And I kid you not, I have contemplated ripping down the wall between the living room and the kitchen. I've contemplated ripping the whole kitchen out and taking the whole room just so I could get the island. I'm actually one of these people. And I'm like, yeah, why am I so obsessed with the island? I think because it looks really good. I think because every kitchen I see, I always love the islands. To me, that's like that great moment where I would do like an all marble surround. I like the island. I like the idea of it, but I do see that if you are trying so hard, this is why I keep saying I'm going to redo my kitchen and then I don't, because I actually still like what I've got. It works for us. Trying to rip everything out, the only way I could figure out to where I could have windows still, I mean, you can't imagine how many of my designer friends have come over, measured this kitchen, and been like, oh Lord, this is the best option you have. They can't come up with a better option. No one can come up with a better option than what I came up with when I did it originally. And that's why I'm like, okay, why am I doing all this? But if you walked in, if I did it this way, I was like, oh, I wouldn't be facing the kitchen. I'd be facing the back of the kitchen. I'm like, sometimes you just don't have space for an island. And you try so hard to squeeze it in. Sometimes they'll end up really skinny. Sometimes you're blowing out walls and doing all this stuff. And, one of the things I like about not having taken out the wall between my living room and my kitchen is that there's like this amazing intimacy. It's really livable the way that the house is done. It feels like a living room that we cook in. And so in the end, all the debating and all the, the running around and everything else, I've ended up with the same exact kitchen because I love my kitchen. It just works. It just honestly works. Okay, let me know your thoughts. Oh my God, this is such a good one. I gotta get this one in today. Okay, that is creating a house full of trends. As in, it looks like your house, like Pinterest, TikTok, and Instagram puked all over your house, and there's all these random trends all over your house. Like none of them actually go with your house. Just don't do that. Just skip this altogether, guys. It's really not good. Okay, it's like your house just feels like really random. It just feels random. It feels like you didn't come up with a plan. You had no idea who you really were. You're a person that's just like easily influenced by things that, don't really go with what your home is. It doesn't go with your architecture. Maybe it doesn't go with your color palette. Maybe it doesn't go with the style of everything else you've got. Like, just avoid it, right? You just follow. Some of you recently said, I can't remember who it was. Jack was telling me that a few of you have been saying recently that once you found my style, you just said, I'm gonna lock in and I'm going to follow her and I'm gonna buy what she buys. And that way I know it's always gonna go together. I think that's a really good idea. Like if you follow people in all different genres and all different styles and color palettes, unless you are a trained designer, it can be very difficult for you to sort through all those different styles and then pull them all together. That's something most people do actually struggle with. So it's better to find someone. If it's me, oh my God, I'm so thrilled. I love that. We give you videos here on YouTube. We do Amazon Lives where we show you the Amazon products, and we share all the time on Instagram if you want to see what we're up to. We have a Pinterest account you can follow as well for ideas that will help you. We have curated the really good ideas down for you, okay? So it'll help you to know what to do, where not to get sidetracked. Because trust me, I see a lot of stuff on Pinterest or especially on TikTok and Instagram, and I'll be, oh, look at this, it's got 100,000 likes on it. Everybody wants this right now. And I'm like, it's not gonna work in my house. Like, I'm not gonna create that video for you. I'm just literally not going to do that. So I do think it's better to have somebody that you follow that just helps you kind of give you guidelines to what really works. And if you like their home, then you're gonna like the way you feel when your home looks like that too. So yeah, avoid the overly trendy, house that's full of all the one-offs. And yeah, so anyways, all right, well, sun's coming out. I hope I've left you feeling inspired and excited about things that you can do in your home, things that you should just avoid, which means you'll have money in your pocket to do other things. And that to me is very exciting, and I hope it is to you as well. So make sure you are a subscriber. I need the tea, guys. Tell me down in the comments which one of these works for you, which one doesn't. I just need to know your experiences with them. We just need to have a really good chat down in the comment section, and I cannot wait for that. So I'm gonna go check out the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye for now.